Senator Kim, I thank you so much for what you've done in this last day, what you've been going through these last few weeks, and today talking to us. I'm going to call you Andy right now, if that's okay, because I feel like what you're doing is every man and every woman.
Thank you. No, thank you. It's so important now more than ever to make sure we're shining a light on what so many people in this country are going through.
Well, I think that everyone believes that, and I think you're helping them, Andy. When did you first have an understanding that something was different with your father?
Last year, he broke his femur bone, and we were concerned about the physical ailments, but we realized that it really uncovered and exposed a level of cognitive decline as well. But I'll be honest with you, like everything's been evolving so rapidly. I mean, it's crazy how fast. I mean, just the other day I was taken to the doctor's appointment, and he didn't even know how to use a seatbelt. He didn't even understand what it was. I mean, it's been very difficult to see how quickly, my father's been declining.
Yeah, you said it's difficult, but what's it been like deep inside? What's it been like for your father and all the relatives?
Well, yeah. Well, look, for my father, I mean, this is very personal for him in many ways. And my father was actually a medical researcher. Got his PhD up the road at Albert Einstein College of Medicine in New York. He then dedicated his life to trying to cure cancer and Alzheimer's. And so for him to have tried to fight to cure Alzheimer's and then now to be diagnosed and afflicted by Alzheimer's, it's been really tough. He
Yeah.
is unable to really comprehend what is happening to him, and the rest of the family. It just hit us like a ton of bricks. It just happened. We were not prepared for this. I look back on it. I always wish maybe I had done something better to be prepared. But so many people. We never quite expect for the worst, and when it happens, it's always really tough.
This is a journey that you and your family are on, and you are allowing us to be on that journey as well. My father died in 1998, and I will, from this, and I will tell you that a lot of us they can understand what you're going through, but people who haven't been there before, who might be thinking that one of their parents or themselves is going through this is going to give them strength, Senator, and I appreciate what you're doing for so many people. What surprised you most so far in this journey? Because it hasn't been going on for a long time. A lot of people live with this for a long time, but it seems like your father is going fast in terms of not being able to do what most people would say is normal.
Yeah, I mean, look, what surprised me is unfortunately what a lot of people experience, which is just how complicated it is to even get the care. I mean, it's tough enough for my father, just to be dealing with my father who's declining both physically and cognitively. But why is it so hard to give him the care that he deserves? Why is it so expensive? I mean, this has been financially catastrophic for my family, and for so many other families. They're talking about how it basically is bankrupting them. It's having generational impacts in terms of families' financial well-being. We're the richest, most powerful country in the world. Why is it so hard for us to be able to get this care? And yeah, I say that as a United States senator. If I'm having this kind of challenge navigating Medicare and Medicaid and all these other programs, imagine how others are feeling. So, I'm really trying to. Why I spoke on the floor of the Senate today about this is that I really think that we need to build a national movement to try to fix this for the millions of families that are struggling now, but the tens of millions more that will continue to face this. I think that this is an issue that hits at a very human element, a very human note, and hopefully can overcome the tribalism and the partisanship that we see right now, the divisiveness that we see right now. Hopefully, this human experience can overcome that.
From your lips, Senator, from your lips. So much of this is not covered by insurance, and that's what really reeks for people because they just eat up the money that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something. I mean, I was just remarking on the floor that right now, a single private room in terms of a senior facility in New Jersey is the average is $177,000 a year. No one who can afford that. I can't afford that. My family can. Many others can't, and many are in greater dire need than my family. So it's a situation that is causing so much financial ruin for so many, and we already have a a retirement crisis as a
Yep.
country. We're already having an affordability crisis as a nation. And this is something that's, just like my dad's not asking for the moon. He just wants to be able to live a life of dignity here in the final stages. And again, we are the richest, most powerful country in the world. How can we not be able to provide that to people?
There is so much now that can be done. There's no cure, of course, from this. You already know that. But there are treatments out there where doctors can start to try to hold it back at least. And some can maybe even go the other way. Unless, of course, it's gone too far. And it sounds like your father may be in that position, or is it not too late?
Yeah, from everything we've seen so far, this is just trying to manage, his situation here. But the doctors do not think it's something that will be able to be slowed. But you raise a good point. Many have taught me that by the time you're seeing these symptoms, it could very well have been 10 to 20 years that a person has really been affected by the disease. So I am actually trying to push legislation and that would push for early detection, early screening, early intervention. I think about it myself and my family. We may be, predisposed to Alzheimer's, given what we're seeing with my father. We should be doing what we can to try
Yeah.
to get to the point where we can prevent this from really. The science is moving incredibly fast. We cannot gut the medical research funding, which is something that has been discussed and we've seen debated here in DC. That needs to stop. We should have bipartisan support for the medical funding. We should be able to supercharge that because if we're able to find a cure or find a way to mitigate this, it will still save us billions of dollars as a country because of just how much this is costing us. We have 7 million people afflicted with Alzheimer's right now. In about 25 years, that number is expected to go up to 14 million. And that doesn't include all the family members that are affected by this whenever their loved one gets ill. So this is something that we need to move forward on as a country.
The numbers you just mentioned, are staggering. There's no question about that. We're in a society where your dad's a baby boomer. I'm a baby boomer. You got a long way to go before that. That is all part of it. We are going to have a flood of people who are going to have this disease, and who knows how long it's going to take for them to finally go by. And I just think that that's going to mean the kind of stuff that you have the ability to change, and that is legislation.
Absolutely. And that is why I spoke out. I hope if there's anything that can come out of my father's story, my family's story, is that we can shine a light on this, work with so many others around the country that are trying to make for progress and to be able to push for the change needed. As I mentioned, my father dedicated his life trying to cure Alzheimer's. And while he may not remember that that's what he did for a living, I feel ready to take on the baton and try to support on his life's work and try to do everything I can to be able to prevent other families from having to go through this incredibly painful process.
I think, and I know the downsides of Alzheimer's are pretty clear. I know people who, faced with this, find that any silver linings you grab onto. Have you thought about that? Are you trying to grab on to everything? And how are your children reacting to all this?
Yeah, well, first of all, you're right. I got an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, so I'm part of that sandwich generation.
Yeah.
That's worried about raising my kids in this incredibly tough moment in America, but also watching my parents grow old. And uh, there are a lot of people that are experiencing that. I don't have the words yet to be able to explain to my kids what's happening to our family and what's happening to my father. All I try to do is just have us be around each other, for my kids to just be able to enjoy being around him while he's with us. And I can see in the smile of my father, he may not fully understand what all is going on, but I can see the joy that it brings him to see my two little
Yeah.
boys, playing around and running around the halls, and that's something that I hope, is something that gives him joy, as he, I'm sure, is struggling to understand what's happening to him.
One of the lessons I learned through all this with my dad is that your kids will watch how you react to this and what you do, and how you treat them and how you treat your dad. And that's going to pay off, sir. That's going to pay off at some point in your future.
No, I hope so. And what I spoke on the floor of the Senate about is that sense of care that we have for our loved ones. We need to be able to manifest that across our country too. It's not just about care toward those that are in our family and our friends. As I see the society right now that we're in, we could use a lot more care going forward to be able to try to make sure that we are, being able to have that. I hope others believe and agree that my father should have a baseline, a foundation of dignity here in these final years. And I feel that for others' families too, even if I don't know them. That's something that I hope that we can agree upon as a
Last thing to talk about, how are you going to spend time with your dad? I assume there's a pressure on that is pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, right now, I'll be honest, I got a pretty demanding day job, U.S. Senate, and I'm the only one that can take him to doctor's appointments. I'm often waking up 5 o'clock in the morning to try to get him appointments. Just the other day, he woke up in the middle of the night, and I had to be there and try to calm him down, as he had no idea where he was and was disoriented and was lashing out. The challenge of being a caregiver is that it's not on your schedule. I'm trying to navigate that while still trying to be a good senator as well as trying to be a good father. I'll do the best that I can.
Well, I think that you are doing the best that you want to do and you can do, and what you're doing for people who are listening to you right now, Senator, and thinking about themselves and their fathers and mothers and kids, whoever it is, you're giving a lesson that I think people will do that. I would say that it's a brave thing you're doing, but I know you wouldn't say that, and you say this is what your job should be as a person and as a senator, and we thank you and we wish you well and think about you while you're going through this, Senator.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll just say, I think it's important that people see that senators go through this, that we are experiencing these types of issues. I think it's too easy to think about politics as being detached and out of touch, and oftentimes it's true. So we need to show that we are connected, that we share these concerns, and we can work together to try to solve them. So it's not easy for me to talk about publicly, but I hope that it brings some comfort to those that often feel alone as they're going through this with their families. And together, I really truly believe we can try to solve these problems and make care in this country easier to do.
Andy Kim, thank you for this. I appreciate it. We're thinking about you. So many politics, aside from everyone, so many people will be thinking of you and your family, and wish you Godspeed.
Thank you. I appreciate it.